Welcome back to Toledo's most fun, local, and positive 9 a.m. show, Good Day. Behind the scenes looks at fascinating spots, interviews, and local insights in a fun, curiosity-driven approach to exploring Northwest Ohio. It sounds like Good Day.
It sure does.
Doesn't it? It's actually, Tim takes us there on WTOL 11+. We have the Tim part with us this morning. Hey, welcome back.
Thank you. Happy New Year to you.
Yeah, so Tim Takes Us There is a program you started doing specifically for our WTOL 11+ app. You can download on your smart TV. You've already gone to what, Fort Meigs? You've gone, or not Fort
Fallen
Meigs,
Timbers
Fallen
Battlefield.
Timbers. You've gone to the zoo. You've gone
we went to the zoo. We did
a
a behind the scenes tour of feeding the lemurs at Toledo Zoo, and a tour of the Hayes Presidential Center in Fremont, because these are things that, you know, of course I've been to the zoo in the time that I've been here, the 19 years I've been here, but some of these things, like, they're in my backyard and I have never explored them, like the Battle of Fallen Timbers. I'm this huge history buff. And I always, you know, went to the Fallen Timbers Mall, or, you know, the shops at Fallen Timbers.
You went to the mall,
Yeah, but you never really explored the battlefield itself. So we take some of these places and then we spend extra time, and that's the key. It's we don't have the constraints of broadcast time on streaming, so we can take extra time to do that. I think our report on the Fallen Timbers battlefield was about 25 minutes, and the latest one on Our Lady, Queen of the Most Holy Rosary Cathedral is about 38 minutes long. So
there's a lot to know about this beautiful building. The name itself.
It takes a while to remember that.
It rolls
Our
right
Lady,
off the
Queen
tongue,
of.
doesn't it?
Sometimes I just say Holy Rosary Cathedral, but the, you know, the formal name. And I've been there a few times. I'm not Catholic myself, but I've been there a few times, including a funeral one time. And I just thought, this is an amazing place that maybe doesn't get as much attention as it should. So.
And look at that.
It's just beautiful. And here's what's so famous about it. It is the only church in not only the U.S., but in North America that is in a Spanish plateresque style. Now, I know a lot of people don't know what plateresque means, but it mimics the great cathedrals in Spain and other parts of Europe. And of course,
the only one in North America?
The only one in North America that looks like this, especially on the inside. And of course, you have that connection with Toledo, Spain, Toledo, Ohio, Toledo, Spain.
It makes sense.
And it kind of made sense to do that. But we just thought, we need to get inside here. And Father Nathan Bachrath was so gracious. He's the pastor, the rector of the cathedral. And he spent a lot of time with us a few months ago inside. And that's actually a plaque that was sent from the cathedral in Toledo, Spain. And it's in Spanish. And if you watch the show, you can see Tim take a shot at remembering his school time Spanish. It was my minor in college, so I do remember a good part of it. I was a little bit off, but I think the pastor was happy.
You did okay.
Yeah.
You did okay. So clearly the architecture, the design, that's a big part of it. But clearly the religion behind it is huge too. So I'm sure you learned a lot there as well. Right,
it's really a story about how the architecture and the artistry inside the cathedral tells the story in this situation of Christianity. This was built, it started in 1926, took 14 years to complete.
Really?
So imagine, you know, during the Depression and everything, leading up to World War II, this cathedral was under construction. So from the back of the church, this is one of the most fascinating things we learned, from the back of the church to the front, it takes you on this journey through the miracles, through the saints, and then when you get to kind of above the altar, it's the scene of heaven. And it's kind of like, as the Father Bachrath explained to me, it's the progression through your life. You want to end up in which place in heaven.
How about that?
So the piece shows that as well. A lot of fascinating things about this cathedral.
When you went in, did you have some expectations? How did that come to fruition?
I was thinking, stained glass windows, we'll show those. But it was so much more. I mean, there's so much detail there. Some of the marble that was used was from Italy, that Michelangelo actually used. And one thing that we learned that was fascinating, I think we might have some video of it too, in the back of the church is a commemoration of Mary. Of course, in the Catholic faith, you have, of course, a lot of commemorations of Mary, and there's a scene in the back of her death scene. You don't hear really about that in the Bible, but above that there's a special rose window that lets a lot of the natural light in. And the Father taught us, or told us, that in the 1930s, kids in the Old West End collected enough pennies to raise, here's the window right here, enough pennies to raise $25,000. So If you want to do the math, go ahead, but $25,000 worth of pennies, and this was during the Depression.
Right.
And look how beautiful that window is. They raised enough money to pay for part of that window. That's the back of their, like, in a lot of churches, that could be the front of their church, right? It's beautiful from front to back, and this is that scene of Mary's death. And it's just amazing how the kids during that time got involved, and can you imagine how they did that? To them. It really was. So we kind of start in the piece, you'll see, we start in the back of the church, back of the cathedral, and we work our way forward. And there were kind of surprises around every corner. There was one part where I even asked Father Baccarat, I said, you know, parishioners are famous for maybe nodding off during sermons. My grandfather was a pastor, my uncle's a pastor, and you know, you always kind of feel bad about that. But I said, well, maybe you're just dreaming and looking around at the artistry there and all the artwork and architecture. So he said that that's okay.
That's okay.
You kind of get caught up in looking around, and maybe you're not paying attention to the sermon, but you are at least taking in the architecture inside there.
There's a relic there too. I don't want to give too much away because we do want people.
We're giving highlights here, but that's all right. Yeah, there's actually a relic. The most recent saint in the Catholic Church was Carlo Acutis. And this right here was in the cathedral for a year before he was canonized back in, I believe, September. This is actually a relic, a part of a bone fragment. He died of cancer, and he was actually he's probably the youngest saint that we have. He was famous for creating a website that kind of categorized all of the Eucharist miracles, and that was enough that it impressed the Catholic Church enough that he became the most recent saint. So the previous Monsignor Kabacki, had some connections to Assisi, Italy, where Carlo Acutis was from, and he was able to secure some of the relics.
Wow.
And it's there on display.
It's here.
In our cathedral here in Toledo, so you can go there, learn more about them. And I like what Father Baccarat said. He said, you know, you can look up and see the stained glass windows of Moses, and you know, you've never seen them. You can only see depictions of them. But here's someone, and he even mentioned he wore Nike shoes. You know, he was a recent person in our world, and you can learn more about him there at the church. And he wants young people especially, to be inspired by what he did, and the young generation.
Yeah, there's something for everyone, right? So you can watch right now. Is the episode
yes, we launched
now?
this. I said, can we get this done? Eric Ruraka, he's our outstanding videographer and editor, a good friend of mine. I said, Eric, I know it's not about Christmas, but we need to get this done before Christmas because it had so many layers to it. So this started airing on WTOL 11 Plus right before Christmas. People have really been watching it.
Good.
I'm excited about that. And so, you know, just download that WTOL 11 Plus app on your TV, and that, you know, you can get it on our website, WTOL.com, but all our Tim takes you there. You can really see them in detail. I don't know how big your TV is, but if you have a nice sized TV, it will really show the detail of Holy Rosary Cathedral.
That's an important one to see on a big screen like that.
My mother-in-law lives in Erie, Pennsylvania, and she's Catholic. She says she's been watching it over and over, so that makes me feel good. So if you have some time, it is 38 minutes long, but you know, people have been watching. Yeah, people have been watching pretty much all the way through. So hopefully we keep your interest and you can learn some things. Really, the pride of Toledo went into building that cathedral.
Yes, and like you said, this is in our own backyard, and maybe just
on Collingwood Boulevard.
There's so much that we don't necessarily know. Very cool, Tim. Thank you.
Thanks for showing us off here.
Yep.